Hello, I will show you how to use cheat engine to create threads. So the objective is to create a thread that can increase whatever number is in here every 1 second. When you click in here, the number will increase. For example, if you now have 2, you click in here, it becomes 3, click again, it becomes 4, and so on. So we need to create a thread that will change the number in here, the string in here, every 1 second. So to create a thread, first you must find out the address of this location where the number is written, and then we must trace the instruction that accesses this address. But more importantly is the address itself. So let's get started. So we will attach cheat engine to crack me 1, and then here we will perform string search, select value type strings, and here the search for text is a scan type, and now we scan for 2. Next we go in here and change to 3, then next scan we change this to 3. So now we double click to put it in the cheat table. Just to confirm that if we got it right, we try to change this to 4, and then click in here, so it becomes 4. That means we got the correct address. Now we want to write the script that can modify this. So I already written this script before, so I know that it works, so I'm going to reproduce this script again to show you how I got it. So in order to create a script, we will open memory viewer, and then right here just click on tools, and it doesn't matter where you are in memory, we are not going to bother about the assembly here, but maybe to show you how this thing works, I will right click on this and browse this memory region. So look down here, 34 is ASCII code for 4. So if you were to change this to 35, let's say you put 35, now this thing has become 5. So if you click in here, you get 5. So if you want it to be 0 here, change this to 30. 30 is ASCII code for 0. So now if you click here, it is 0. So the idea is to keep increasing the hex value for this memory address. So every time you increase hex value, the effect is to increase the number here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So to do that, we need to have a pointer to this memory address. So this memory address, we can right click. We already have the memory address in here, so we don't need a pointer. We have the memory address here. So now we can create a script to create a thread. So we click on tools and then auto assemble, and here the template we'll be using is cheat table framework code, so it will create a blank script for you. So over here we are going to first thing, we are delete this, we create some memory location. So we global alloc, we give a symbol called my thread, or maybe we can say new thread, and then we allocate 256 bytes. Then we will create thread. Next we will create some labels called exit new thread, and then we need to register the symbol. Exit new thread. So global alloc is to allocate some memory for our thread, and we give it 256 bytes. Create thread is the actual API function that creates the thread itself that we allocated memory for up here. Label is because we want to use this label inside our code down here. So we create a label exit new thread. Then we need to register exit new thread so that this symbol can be used anywhere in the program. Then now we're going to write our code. The label we created is new thread. This label is automatically created here when you create new thread. So create new thread, and the code for that is we will now assign some value for, okay, we have to get the memory address where this thing is stored. So the memory address is coming from here, this one. Double click on this and copy this. Alright, so that we got that, and now we go back to our script. So this is the memory address, and we are going to change the value there. So to change the value there, we use a move. We specify as a byte pointer type, and then here byte pointer because we are only going to modify 1 byte in memory. Now if you look back at the memory, this is just 1 byte. That's why we specify here as byte pointer. And now the existing value for that is 0, as you can see, so it's 30. So what if we move 31? We move 31 in hex into that location. So the effect of that should be, this should become 1. Remember when we did this 31, this became 1, and you click here, you see it's 1. Okay, so let's put this back to 30. So now it's 0. So if we move 31 to this address, this one should become 1. So let's continue. Okay, so now the next thing you want to do is create a thread just to do that. And then next thing is we are going to sleep for 1 second, but maybe I'll show you that later. Just create a new thread. Alright, since we have a new thread, we have to exit the thread as well. So to exit the thread, we call return like this. Alright, exit the thread. So far we have not used this symbol exit new thread, but maybe we'll do that afterwards. Just try this first, whether this thing can work or not. Okay, so now we'll assign this to the currency table. Line 4. Okay, so it needs to have the symbol already, so I just type in the symbol, although we don't use it at the moment yet. So exit new thread. Exit new thread. Okay, just leave it blank for now. So let's assign. So we assign to our table. We can go and test it now. This is our new script, so we give it a name, thread example, or thread demo. Okay, so now when you click here, nothing happens, but if we activate script and click here, it goes to 1. You see that? And if you go and look at the memory, it's 1. See that? And if you want to keep increasing the value to 2, we can stop this script, go back and change this to 32. 32 means the hexadecimal ASCII code for 2. So we change it to 32 and we click OK, and then you activate one more time, click here, it becomes 2. If you want it to come to 3, then we go back to the script, change this to 33. 33 is the ASCII code for 3. Click OK, activate, click here again, so it becomes 3. Okay, now next exercise we're going to try is to modify the script so that this thing auto increment. That means every 1 second whenever we click in here, it will increment. So to do that, we need to have a kind of a loop. So let's go back to the script and try to implement some kind of loop. So to create a loop, we have to use jump not equal, and we have to declare some. We have to put a sleep function that will delay for 1 second. So in order to the sleep function in the Windows is just called sleep, but the sleep function accepts one parameter, the how long to sleep. So we have to push that into the stack for the sleep function to read. So we push 1000 milliseconds. 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. So when you do this and call sleep, it will sleep for one second and then continue the thread or return. But we don't want it to return, so we want it to repeat, keep looping. Okay, so to keep looping, we need to test a variable. The variable is here, exit thread, new thread. So exit new thread, we will declare a variable with the value 0. db means declare bytes. So you test this variable, exit new thread, to see whether or not it is 1. If it is 1, we exit. If it's not 1, we will jump to my thread, jump to new thread, like this. So the logic is like this. Every time it comes to this part here, it will compare this label whether or not the value is 1. If the value is 1, then it will exit, it will come here and return. But if the value is not 1, then you go and jump up here and continue, keep on looping. That's the meaning of JNE. JNE means jump not equal. So it's testing jump not equal, whether or not this 2 is equal. If this 2 is not equal, then it will jump not equal to new thread and continue. But if this 2 is equal, that means this one is false, it will come here and exit. So the trick is, if you want it to exit the thread, then we have to assign 0 1 over here, 0 1. Okay, so how do we do that? We can do that by copying this code and put it under the disable section. Under the disable section, we put it 1, so that when this script is disabled, it will put 0 1 into this label, right? So when this thing loops and finds that exit new thread is 0 1, this thing will fail and it will come here and return. So that is the trick. Okay, now the problem is we must find a way to increase this Otherwise we will be just putting 0101 into we have to find a way to increase this. Otherwise you keep putting 33 33 33 into the same location, and it will never increase. Okay, let's give it a try to see what I mean. So now let's start off with 0, and we activate the thread and we click here. It jumps to 3, and 3 is represented by 33 in hex, the ASCII code for 3. Now if you click again, even though the thread is continually looping every 1 second, it never increased to 4. Why? Because the value that keeps writing to here is still 33 from the script. Let me stop it. Every second the script is still writing the same value to this address. That's why this value never increased. So we need to find a way to increase this value every 1 second. So to do that, we need to introduce a variable. So we are going to use the register as a kind of variable to do that. That means instead of 33 here, instead of hard coding it, we use AL, and then we are going to increment AL every second. AL is the lower byte for the EX register. So what we need to do is, before we can use AL, we have to push the existing value that is already in EX, and then when we finish with the using the EX, increment the value whatever, we have to pop it back so that we will not corrupt the stack, because EX might be storing some important value for the other parts of the program. So we cannot just use the AL register without first preserving the existing value. So to preserve the existing value, we push whatever is already in EX to the stack first, then we increase AL and do whatever we want with AL. Then when we finish that, we need to restore the original value of whatever is in EX. Alright, this way we do not corrupt the stack or cause the program to behave in a strange way or erratically. This is good practice. So whenever before you use a register, push it first, do whatever you want, then pop it back when you finish with it. So what are we going to do with AL? We are going to increment the value of AL. Okay, so before we increment the value of AL, we must first put something in AL. So what are we going to put in AL? We are going to put the whatever is in this memory location into AL. See that? So this will copy whatever is in there into AL. So at the moment, whatever is in AL might be 33 or whatever. So whatever is in AL will be, whatever in this location will be copied into here, AL. Then after that, we will increment AL. That means increase by 1. So if it's 33, it will become 34. If it's 34, it will become 35, like that. Then we push the new value of AL into this location, and then we pop, and the whole thing repeats itself. Okay, so that is the logic. So now let's try this new script. So we activate it and we click on this. See, every time we click, the value keeps increasing. And then these are the ASCII code for this symbol. That's why you're seeing all this funny symbol. If you want to know what those symbols mean, then you need to go and search the ASCII code using your browser to search for ASCII code, right? So here you can search for ASCII code, and you can see the corresponding hex value. 00 is this symbol, and so on. You see? So for us, we started with 30. 30 is 0, 31 is 1, 32 is 2, 33 is 3, and so on. So when we come to 3a, we get colon, 3b is semicolon, 3c is this, like that, right? That is the reason why whenever you click here, you see all these funny symbols. Now it's alphabets. So alphabets has got its own corresponding value. For example, S now will be somewhere here. Will be somewhere here, S. S is 73. Okay, and if you look at the memory, you can see this thing increasing, 30, 31, and so on, like that. You see that? Keeps on increasing. Okay, so that's how we can use the cheat engine to create thread, and how we can write a script to create a thread, and how we understand what is the meaning of all the various parts of this global alloc, create thread, label, register symbol. And when we create thread, whenever we want to use any kind of register, we have to take precaution to push and pop. Okay, so this is the explanation on thread. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, kindly subscribe, like and share. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the future videos.